Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's begin with this chapter. This chapter is, show the name of the chapter, at the back. Okay, operation strategy in a global environment. So in this chapter we will be talking about this strategy. Okay? You see, manager is the one who can make the strategy. Okay, no technician, no clerk, no junior manager can develop the strategy. So you have an opportunity to develop the strategy. This is the distinct advantage of education. If you are completing your bachelor's, if you are getting a degree, then this is an opportunity for you that you can develop the strategy. Anyone who has a good experience, he can never develop a strategy until he knows theory very well. So this is very, very important for you, that you get the distinct advantage of developing a strategy at your job. Operations strategy. So this is an operation management course. In this chapter you will learn how to develop the strategy, operations strategy in a global environment. Global environment is the concept in which we talked about the companies which are all over the world. Multinational company, transnational company. We will be discussing about it. So we cannot learn anything in a isolation manner right now. Okay, after the World Trade Agreements, the whole world has become a global village. Okay, every country is exporting and importing. No country in the world is, except the few which has the embargoes. Most of the countries in the world are exporting and importing. So the export can never be better if you do not develop the strategy which complement the global environment, because global environment is very challenging. So in this chapter, inshallah, we will learn how can we develop the strategy of a company with the mission statement. How can we develop the strategy? How can we develop the operations strategy and its subdivision strategy? So this chapter is critically very important. Let's start this chapter with the Boeing example. Very, very interesting example, that how Boeing is acquiring products and services across the world. Show these slides, over here. Yes. Okay, next. I'll be referring slides for the better explanation. So these are the important point. Mission. We will be learning about the mission. Okay, you might have heard about vision, mission. Okay, these are the buzzwords. HR, yes, HR course. In the HR course, you might have come across with the vision concept, with the mission concept. So in this chapter, inshallah, we will be seeing multiple mission of companies. For example, Pepsi Cola and other companies. So you will be seeing the actual mission of any company. So what is mission and what is strategy? Explain 10 decisions of OM. We already discussed the 10 decisions. Do you remember that then? Yes. These are very, very important. You have to keep remember and in your active mind, because I will be referring the 10 decisions every now and then. Describe and explain differentiation, cost and response. This is basically, it's a comparative strategy. So we will be discussing about the comparative strategy. Keep writing this. So there are 3 comparative strategies. Write it down. There are 3 comparative strategies which we will be discussing. That is the differentiation, cost effective, low cost and response. 3 comparative strategy we will be discussing in these slides. 3 comparative strategy we will be discussing in these slides in this chapter. First is the differentiation, that how the company product and services are better than the other. Other one is the low cost, how cost effective the company is. Company products, company services are, how responsive the company and its products are. So basically these 3 are the comparative strategies.
So first
बस differentiation. First is the differentiation. ठीक है? Okay. 4 global operation strategies we will be talking about, and why global issues are important. When we talk about the global, we talk about the all the regions of the world. Okay? We cannot study anything right now. We cannot study anything in isolation. We need to learn how any company can grow in the global environment. You see, no company can sustain its business in a single environment. That inshallah you will be learning. If the company has started in Pakistan, the company should not be in Pakistan in the next 20 years. Company must grow and be the multinational so that they can grow well and they can sustain its business. Okay? So this is very challenging. Next. So we'll be discussing that next. Okay, in the global strategy, we talk about the Boeing, that how Boeing, do you know about the Boeing company? There are 2 companies, big companies in the world, which manufactures or assembles airplanes. Okay? One is the Airbus, other one is the Boeing. So Boeing is the only company which is of a single country. Otherwise, Airbus is the company run by multiple countries: Germany, France, Italy, and other countries of the world. England, basically UK. So there are multiple countries who are running the airline industry. But this is Boeing, only run by the United States. And you see that how United States are keeping its competitive advantage through this global strategy. Boeing sales and production are worldwide. So you see the company is American, but how they are managing. This is very interesting. Sales and production are worldwide. Sales and production are worldwide. Benetton moves inventory to stores around the world faster than its competition by building flexibility into design, production and distribution. So you see the flexibility in all designing, production and distribution. Able to move the inventory from one place to another place. It's very easy, it's manageable, it's cost effective when you have different distribution centers, different facilities at different locations. Sony purchases components from suppliers in Thailand, Malaysia and around the world. So one of the example written in the Sony, it's Sony, how Sony, you might have heard about the Sony. Do you have any appliance at home of Sony? Television, I guess. One of the best television. It has a very longer life than the other television. So you see Sony, how Sony produces a product, purchases component from supply in Thailand, purchases from Thailand, Malaysia and around the world. All assembled in Japan, or there are times when they are assembled in China, even other part of the world. Okay, next. So these are the global strategy. Volvo, we talk about the Volvo. You might have heard the name of Volvo trucks, you might have seen. So Volvo, Swedish company, but it is controlled by an American company, Ford. The current Volvo S40 is built in Belgium and share its platform with the Mazda 3 built in Japan and the Ford Focus built in Europe. You see, the companies are of particular region, but they are producing in another part of the region. Why? Because of multiple reasons. Because of their consistent competitive advantage, which we just discussed. Haier, we talked about the Haier. A Chinese company produces compact refrigerators and wine cabinets in South Carolina. So basically in USA, it is one of the fastest selling brand. In USA, Haier is the fastest selling brand in the refrigerator. And they develop the special kind of refrigerator which has the capacity to carry the wine, and it is one of the highest selling, especially in Carolina. So that's how they are improving their sales and customizing the product, making the product customized for their customers. Next. Okay, you see Boeing suppliers. We talked specifically about 787, one of the highest selling brand, Boeing 747. So you see the firm is in France. France is the country where the competitor Airbus is being built, but still they are getting the design and programming software from France just to get competitive. So it is not the choice, it is the need. Okay, it is the need. So you see next one is the Bugatti. It is in France. Landing gear. Landing gear comes from Bugatti, France. Thales is in France. Next, Germany. The interior lighting coming from Germany. UK, fuel pump. Italy, upper center. Japan, carbon fiber and wings and other units are coming from there. And other parts from Japan. So you see it's a long list. They have more than 20 countries where they are getting parts. And technology. So basically they are using the world over resources to develop a product that would be competitive. Okay? Otherwise they cannot make the competitive product. They cannot lead in the competition. If they do not go globally, if they do not acquire services and products from across the world, they can never be competitive. So very, very important that if any company wants to keep their sales consistent, so it needs to have the global suppliers and manufacturer, producer, and the technology comes from across the world. Otherwise they can never. Next. Other parts are coming from Japan and China. Next. So what are the reasons of globalizing? So let's discuss very, very important reason. Paper. For paper it is important. So note it down. And that's you need to keep in your mind, because there are very, very critical reasons, and because of these reasons companies go global. Companies go global because of these reasons. Okay. So you see the first one is the reduced cost. So costing is very, very critical, as you know. It is a time of competition, and in the competition the customers are pretty price sensitive. If you talk about the big brands, the big products, expensive products, luxury products, in fact in these industries the price is important. If you talk about the current times, the recession, global recession has just started. You might have heard. Yes, sir. All the markets across the world are dropping down. Bearish markets. They are losing their shares. Every single day is very critical. So you see in these kind of challenges, reducing cost is primarily very important for any company to survive. Otherwise, I'm about to tell you. So the first one is the labor. So labor is pretty expensive in the developed countries. You might have heard about it. You might already know about it. Labor is pretty expensive. Plus, labor laws are very stringent. Okay. So the companies prefer the places, the geographical locations where labor laws are not strict. In addition to that, the wages are not very heavy, and in the changing of currency, in the currency exchange, there is a major difference in that. For example, in America, if you produce a product, it costs you a lot more in terms of labor, but the same product if you make in Mexico, it is a lot cheaper in terms of labor. So labor is very important. You cannot the questions comes in your mind, okay, in the times of technology we do not need labor at all. but that is not true. We cannot eliminate labor. We cannot reduce it, but we cannot eliminate. Up till now, we cannot. There are few processes, few products which are technology intensive. That's it. Otherwise, labor is primarily very, very important. So you see, to reduce cost, companies need to see that where they can get the cheap and competent labor. Very important, cheap and competent labor. There is no margin in competency. You cannot say that they are not competent, they are not productive. They will not hire the labor which is not productive and competent. So the labor would be competent, productive, but the companies has to give the less wages to the labor. The huge difference that is. Taxes, as you see, the taxes are different in different part of the world. For example, in the European Union, the taxes are different. The America taxes are different. The China taxes are different. In other part, even in China, different cities had different taxes. And the reasons of different taxes are because basically it's a macroeconomic factor, and the countries increase and decrease taxes to particular cities because they want to generate business or they want to reduce the population or the consumption of that particular city. For example, China is interested in reducing the influx of people in Beijing. They are interested in that. They want the Chinese to move to other part of the country. So there is too much concentration within few cities. That is why their environment is being challenged. So you see, these are the reasons why taxes are being brought by the countries and by the region as well. Ji.
Sir?
Listen, Ji.
Sir, Scandinavian countries में क्या?
देखें, Scandinavian countries, if you see Scandinavian countries, they are the welfare states kind of, and they tax you in a great manner. Yes, the heavy taxes. So since you have to follow their policies as well, and the taxes are high, so listen. One of the students saying that he did not understand. I am making you understand again. Taxes are basically how the countries control the influx of the business. If countries, for example, Pakistani government want business in Balochistan, so what they would do, they would decrease the taxes, they would encourage the businessmen to come to Balochistan. By reducing the taxes, their cost of production would be less. For example, if electricity is cheap over here, so whatever this facility would produce will be cheaper as compared to other part of the city. So likewise, the countries, what they would do, they reduce the taxes, and when the companies has to give the less taxes, the product per unit cost is less. Got it? Influx means coming of the people. People are coming. For example, Karachi city, very interesting. You see across Pakistan, the scenario is pretty different as compared to Sindh. In Sindh, there is too much influx. There is too much influx and inflow in the Karachi city as compared to other part of the country. In Lahore, there is no such influx as compared to Karachi city. There is too much concentration in the Karachi city. More than 50% of the population lives in the Karachi city and in its vicinity, or in the cities of the Sindh province. But in other provinces, most of the population lives in the urban, not the urban, but the rural part. So this is the example influx where there are too many people is in the particular area, coming into a particular area. Inflow of the people. For example, in Karachi city, there are too many people are coming to earn, to live, to enjoying the facility of any kind. Yeah, the concept is. Since if you see in Sindh, there are the little facilities basic facilities even in other part of the Sindh. So people come to Hyderabad, Sakhar, Karachi, Mirpur Khas, the developed urban cities to just get facilitated.
Sir, to increase the taxes, they also have been working on the infrastructure.
Yes, the taxes, increasing of taxes is basically to generate the revenue. So, but actually, it is the responsibility of the government to invest the same taxes in that particular area. For example, if there is no business, there is no taxes. So to generate business is also the responsibility of a government. For example, in Dubai, there are tax-free zones. After some time, after 10 years or so, they will start taxing the businesses over there. The same areas where they used to take nothing. First they provide the business opportunities, then they can tax. So taxes is the outcome of the business basically. So if there is no business in any part of the city, in any part of the country, so there can not be any taxes. So taxes means the area is developed. There is an opportunity for government to take taxes. Tariffs are basically whenever any region wants the particular area of the world to export. For example, if European Union wants Pakistan to export the textile goods, so they reduce their tariffs so that the government of Pakistan can export their textile goods and become competitive as compared to other part of the world. So tariffs is basically it's kind of quota. You basically control the quota from where you want to get the product and where you do not want to get the product. जी. हाँ, गवर्नमेंट भी होती है, रीजन भी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यूरोपियन यूनियन इज यूजिंग टैरिफ्स, गवर्नमेंट इज यूजिंग टैरिफ्स. जी. टैरिफ्स, basically tariffs is when the what government wants and what government does not want. So what they do, they impose taxes so that the products don't get competitive. For example, in the last government, what happened? The Chinese product had a high tariffs and the local textile products were flourishing because of the high tariffs. They were not competing because of that. Okay, let's take a adhan break. अच्छा, ब्रेक कब लेना है आपकी क्लास से? 4:30? नहीं 4:30. अच्छा जी, we talked about the labor taxes and tariffs. Now we are talking about the improved supply chain. So you see, improved supply chain is we just discussed the concept of Boeing, in that their supply chain was improved by getting the technology, getting the components, getting the raw material from other part of the world. Wherever it is being made at its best. It is one of the concept of the global value chain, in which the countries are adding value as per their comparative advantage. For example, Pakistan is exporting goods to America and other part of the world because they are competitive in producing textile goods. And it is not being sold with the name of Made in Pakistan, but with the name of Nike and other brands. Okay, so this is the concept of the supply chain, that there are many countries, many companies in between. They are supplying their services and product to many companies, and the finished good is consumed by someone who is another part of the world. So the basically supply chain improvement, if we talk about, so it is the improvement of the supply of the goods by the supplier, the production of the goods, the distribution of the goods, the retailing of the goods. So as many competent distributor you have, as many retailer component you have, the better supply chain you have. Okay, got it? So you need to have the best in class retailer so that you can brand and you can sell your product at the premium price. You cannot sell your product at the premium price if your product is ordinary. You see Gul Ahmad used to export most of its product with someone else's brand. But in the last few decades, they started their own brand with the name of Gul Ahmad. Okay? Likewise, there are multiple brands who was exporting only, who was working as a supplier only. Now they are retailing as well of their brands. So you see, it's an improvement of the supply chain. It is called vertical integration. Note it down. It is called vertical integration, in which you start retailing, distributing your own product, or start integration. So there is a concept of forward integration and the backward integration. Forward integration and backward integration. When we talk about the forward, it means the distributor, the retailer. And when we talk about the backward, it is the supplier and the other suppliers, the suppliers who are supplying you. So when the companies acquire their own suppliers, purchase their own suppliers or become their own suppliers, it is called backward integration. It is called backward integration. And when the company start retailing its own products, it is called forward integration. So this is all part of vertical integration. This is types of vertical integration. Okay, I just gave you an example of Gul Ahmad. Okay, let's take an example of Canon. Canon is basically hatching of the eggs and poultry. It is in poultry business, plus it is retailing as well. So basically it is a vertically integrated company. KNN is a vertically integrated company. Why? Because they have their own suppliers and they have their own retailing with the help of other retailers. Basically they have their own retailing. In addition to that, they use other retailers as well. Yes, there is a question from the back. जी. देखिए, there is a concept of vertical integration in which we talk about the acquiring of the supply chain. You see, supplier.
Sir, being a broker is also one part of backward integration.
So you see, these are the stages of supply chain. Okay. So you see, when we say integration, it means any of the stage is been acquired by the. This is called backward integration. And this is called forward integration. Forward integration. ठीक है जी, ये मैन्युफैक्चर, सप्लायर, मैन्युफैक्चर, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर, रिटेलर, कस्टमर. जी, another question?
Sir, being a broker is also part of the backward integration. Like you are getting a supply.
Broker is something else. Broker comes over here. Comes over here. Supplier, manufacturer, distributor, retailer, customer. So these are the stages of supply chain. Whenever any company acquire the different stages to improve the supply chain, so basically it is called the integration, vertical integration. This is a concept of vertical integration. And if we categorize the vertical integration, so it is categorized into forward and backward. Is it clear now?
Yes.
So what we have learned that the companies are integrating to reduce cost, to improve the services, or to attain the sustainable competitive advantage. That can be the cost effectiveness, that can be the responsive, that can be the differentiation, which I made you write in the beginning. Yes.
B2B is a part of forward integration.
B2B is something else. B2B, business to business. This is one of the way the companies approach customers. Something else. B2B is the way the business is conducted. It is not about the supply chain. It is about how the business conducted. For example, if I am selling this air condition to businesses only, so this is B2B. If I am selling these chillers to common people, common customers, so that is B2C. So that does not mean about the supply chain. That is the way you conduct your business. It can be because of the product, because of the industry, anything else. For example, it is very, very expensive, or it is very, very heavy that it cannot be used by the common users. So I will go with the industry. Okay. So this is the way the business is being conducted. Yes. जी उन्हें केनन का बताया ना मैंने आपको, केनन बताया मैंने आपको और गुल अहमद बताया आपको मैंने. ओके, केनन गुल अहमद के अलावा आपको वी टॉक अबाउट द ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री. इंडस मोटर्स. इंडस मोटर्स इज बेसिकली द असेंबलर और मैन्युफैक्चर एंड इट हैज़ द सप्लायर विद द नेम ऑफ एग्री ऑटोज. ठीक है, थल इंजीनियरिंग. So basically whatever is happening, whatever it is assembling, it is coming from its subsidiary, the company which is owned by the Habib Group. Ji? Okay. Sorry, not Indus Motors, Park Suzuki. Park Suzuki. No, it is Park Suzuki and Agri Autos are sister concern. ठीक है. So whatever parts are coming, supplies are coming to the Park Suzuki for assembling are coming from Agri Autos, and it is the example of the backward integration. Example of backward integration. So both are part of Habib Group. Habib Group.
And what will be the forward integration?
Forward integration, I gave you example of Gul Ahmad. ठीक है. Likewise, there are many companies who have started like this, especially in the textile industry. Yes, J-Dot. J-Dot is also an example. But J-Dot was not working as an exporter. There are many companies as Saya. Saya was working as an exporter. Now they introduce their own brand. They are retailing by themselves. So there are many textile brands you might have seen. They are not a brand owned by a single person. It is the brand which has been there in the industry for so long, but they were in export. Now they are exploring the local market. Shan Foods. Nishat या Shan? Shan Foods. देखें, Shan Foods is basically a manufacturer. That is something else. That is something else. Export कर रहा है, ठीक है, that is something else. So it means that they have changed their distributor and retailer, that's it. But they have not integrated. We are talking about the integration in which you were giving your product to the particular retailer, but now you are retailing yourself. We are discussing this. Any other question? आगे चलते. Yes, after 10 minutes. Should I remove it? Forward or backward? In English we call it ahead or behind. It is behind or ahead. I understand. You are trying to be ahead. Smart guy. Okay.
Why are you not giving a break here?
Because the time is left. Provide better goods and services. So basically providing the better goods and services, it is one of the reasons why company go global, to provide the better goods and services, because they want to improve their goods. They want to improve the technology through which the product is being made. Okay, they want to introduce the product which is better than before. They want to improve their services. So what they do, they go global in that manner. If we say understand markets, so it is the best way to understand markets. Markets means customers. You understand the customers, different type of customers, and you basically leverage the product life cycle. Do you know what is product life cycle? So you see there are different stages. One is the introduction stage. The other is the growth stage, maturity, and decline. So you see the product is introduced. For example, if the product is matured in the European market, the company would introduce the product in the Asian market. So it will be in the introduction or the growth stage. So you see the companies are capitalizing this. They are understanding the markets and they are extending the product life cycle of a product. They are delaying the decline of the product. Very important. Next is learn to improve operations. They learn to improve operations. Okay? By the best practices, by the sharing of the best practices. Okay? They learn to improve their practices. So different parts of the world. For example, world has learned a lot from the Japanese manufacturer, Japanese businessmen. Why? Because their cultural practices and their practices were very professional and very efficient. So you see the world has learned from their operation practices. Ergonomics, the way you best use your resources. For example, if I am standing over here, this is the best place in which I can concentrate on you on the lecture or the lecture. So what does it mean? It is ergonomics. If I am using the computer, so this is the best way I have to sit so that I can use the computer in the long term and with the best efficiency. This is called ergonomics. Germany is best at making the reliable products. Japan is best at managing the inventory or efficient production. So you see, so these are the best operations. You learn, the companies learn, liaison with each other and learn with each other. Nowadays you see the electric vehicles are everywhere. EV. So you see EV, how EV are growing their business. They are improving the battery time. And battery time, lithium ion battery cannot be improved by a single company. There are multiple companies who are working together. Even the competitors are working together to improve the technology, to improve the product. So that's how they improve the operations. Attract and retain global talent. So global talent is attracted towards the multinational. For example, the best university in Karachi in Pakistan and its student and alumni want to work in the multinational. Why? Any reason why? The best alumni of any institution want to work in the multinational company. Why? Bilkul. They are multinational and they know how to attract and retain global talent. They know how to compensate.
Based on their
Skills, competency,
talent,
attitude, talent. So basically they utilize them at their best. They are very productive at their environment. The environment is very congenial, very friendly. So they work at their best. So that's how they retain the global talent. And there is a opportunity for global companies that they can fit in any employee who wants to move abroad in other part of the world. For example, if anyone who is working in Siemens Pakistan and he wants to immigrate in Canada, so they give the opportunity to them to apply over there and get the job there. Plus, if there is a recession in any country and they want to lay off the employees, they can hire by the other part of the world by the same company. That is also possible. So they know how to attract and retain global talent. Thank you very much.